at the Brooklyn Brewery in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. One of the coolest places in one of the coolest neighborhoods in one of the coolest boroughs in the coolest city. My name is Ellen Freudenheim, and I am the author of the just published new guidebook to Brooklyn. It's called The Brooklyn Experience, the ultimate guide to neighborhoods and noshes, culture, and the cutting edge. I am not a native Brooklynite, but I moved here in 1984 and was summarily lost. I soon realized that I was living in an enormous place that wasn't Manhattan, and this was before the internet. There was really no way to find anything out. So my husband and I co-authored the first guidebook to Brooklyn in 1991 that had been published since World War II. Now, in 2016, it's an entirely different borough, but it is culturally and culinarily and experientially a very exciting place now. So Brooklyn today is on the cusp of a whole new identity. Brooklyn was always working class, had moxie, was driven by immigrant ambition. It was driven by immigrant ambition for all these people from all these countries all over the world, just about every continent, who wanted a better life for themselves. Now there's a lot of money sloshing around Brooklyn, and a lot of people who really provided the lifeblood of the borough are being priced out. So this may be one of the few guidebooks you'll ever read to a place that talks not only about the great restaurants and the great museums and the cool places to take photographs and have a good time, but also about the social tensions right underneath the surface, and sometimes not so right underneath the surface. Brooklyn has a global brand. This is inconceivable. When we moved to Brooklyn, Brooklyn was associated with drugs, crime, the mafia, ethnic neighborhoods. Now, these neighborhoods where we are, Williamsburg, Greenpoint, Fort Greene even, so many neighborhoods are absolutely the #1 place that young people graduating college want to come to, and people in the creative economy. In this neighborhood, there are people who are in bands, there are people who are writers, there are people who are in advertising, there are people who are artists. I mean, the whole creative thing that drives the New York City economy is really vibrant here. It's reached a critical mass. I'm of two minds about Brooklyn today. Part of me I love being able personally to go to fabulous restaurants and to go to interesting art galleries, and there's really great theater now in Brooklyn, and I love the excitement around Brooklyn. On the other hand, I don't like it that people that I know can't find apartments that are affordable and have to move to Philadelphia or upstate or Queens or really back to Manhattan. And now what we have is a kind of balkanization. We've got rich Brooklyn, we've got poor Brooklyn, and we've got somehow, like the rest of the country, really struggling to stay middle-class Brooklyn.
Well, Brooklyn is a place of neighborhoods. It is, I mean, Brooklyn is a thing as a whole, but its parts are extraordinary. It's almost impossible to take it all in. So to have had someone go out and really go deep throughout the borough is a real gift to all of us.
Someone who picks this up, they'll flip through and they might encounter a neighborhood or a story or a place that they wouldn't have otherwise thought about. Whereas what we're seeing today in the tourism industry are a lot of geolocated apps. And so it's really just about you and where you are. And so if you don't think to go to Midwood or Canarsie or Coney Island, then you may not discover small businesses and cultural institutions in those communities.
Ellen does something very important. She records and archives for posterity what Brooklyn is. It's not just the big spots like Barclays Center, like you said. It's the smaller institutions, the smaller organizations, the smaller places, and the people whose voices come out very clearly in this book.
If I were writing a poem to the borough president, the first thing I would say is, don't cave into developers. Remember the little people. You know, think about Brooklyn for the kids. You know, invest in the arts, and not just the high-end arts. You know, invest in creativity and invest in humanity, and keep Brooklyn sort of by, for, and of the people.